Good morning, girls. Am I audible to everyone? Okay, so today we'll start with the fourth unit. The first topic is by keeping proper regulated markets. Okay, so what are regulated markets? What are the benefits? What are the drawbacks? We'll study in this unit. By keeping proper control over the marketing producer can be easily overcome the problems arising from losses if regulated markets are established in the country. This market can be regulated by local institutions or state government for the purpose of bringing uniformity in marketing process across the state. Only the system of state act is considered appropriate. So the state government establishes some acts for rules and regulations to be governed through in these markets. So in the last unit we saw everything about and all the types of organized markets. In this unit we will be studying about the regulated markets. So as in earlier we discussed that the basic difference is that organized markets are run and operated and the rules and everything are created by the people who are involved in the market, whereas in regulated markets government creates all the rules and regulations. So genesis of regulated markets in India. In India, markets were first regulated So in India, markets were first regulated in 1897, while efforts were made to remove marketing related evils by passing the Cotton and Food Grain Act at Bihar. So this was the first act that was created in order to safeguard the interest of the producers. Through this, it became necessary to inform the market and control them by the committees. The second attempt came in Mumbai in 1927 by passing the Mumbai Cotton Market Act, in which the government used a form of committee to manage the markets. The Act of 1987 was amended in 1937 and the Act of 27 was amended in 39. Similar acts were also passed in other states. Okay, so these are two examples that were the very beginning of creation of acts and rules and regulations that would govern the regulated markets in the country. Okay, so regulated markets are basically markets that government operates and runs for the sale and purchase of agricultural products. At the time of Second World War, the number of regulated markets was limited, but after the war, the number of these markets in India and Hyderabad increased rapidly. In order to make the regular markets more efficient, the government report has given the following measures. Okay, the act should be used more cautiously as a function of the market. The chairman of the committee should not be empowered to the market committee. So these are some of the things or observations that the government has in time given in order to improve the working of these markets. Then the sale of agriculture product should be done in the market. The act should be used for the benefit of all principal items. Producers should get a suitable position in the market committee. A government department should be set up in each state to set up such markets, and the chairman of the market committee should have the necessary technical knowledge. Okay, so these are some of the things that are mandatory, or the government has specified these points in order to make sure that there is smooth running of these kinds of regulated markets. Okay, next we come to the present marketing regulations. What is the current situation of marketing regulations in India, and what may be the possible problems related to it? So after independence, agriculture produce markets committees were established in many states of the country. Farmers sell their products by bringing them to these agricultural markets. The basic purpose of establishing these markets is to provide farmers with intermediaries, to protect them from exploitation, and to give them the right price for their produce. So earlier what happened was that the farmers used to produce the agriculture products, and there were intermediaries that used to broker the deal between the farmers and the actual purchasers, maybe the wholesalers, or maybe the warehouses, or private investors or stockists. Okay, these people used to buy the products through these intermediaries. Okay, now what happened was the intermediaries used to buy bulk quantities of products from the producer or the farmers, and used to on very low prices, and they used to sell it at a good commission to whoever was interested in buying it. Okay, this gave a disadvantage to the producer, that they used to get very less value of their product, and the main profit was earned by the middlemen. So government has taken these steps to set up regulated markets, so that the government itself can act as an intermediary, and when the government will act as an intermediary, they will not cut down or kill the profits of the producers or the farmers. Okay, because government obviously works on social welfare point of view, and they will always think about the well-being of the citizens. So to protect them from exploitation and to give them the right price for their produce. Okay, so there is a minimum price level also fixed. You may have studied about price ceiling and price floor in economics in your school time. So price ceiling and price floor are the two concepts where government tries to fix the price, that a price floor says that the price cannot go below this point, and a price ceiling is a point where the government sets a minimum price. Okay, it was also intended that there should be no fraud on the farmers, and they should be paid the right price for their products immediately. In these mandis, the farmer comes to the mandi area after loading his products in bullock carts or tractors. Usually the broker sets the deal between the buyer and the seller, or the goods are sold in open auction. Once the deal is finalized, the broker makes the vehicle fit for sale and sells. out of these, the fixed expenses are deducted and the remaining amount is paid to the farmer. Okay, so one second. So for the regulation of regular markets or mandis, various state government have enacted the Agriculture Produce Market Act in their respective states, which work under the Agriculture Department of the state. These are regulated and controlled by Agriculture Marketing Board of the state, and there is a Mandi committee to regulate each market. Apart from this, several subcommittees are also formed. Okay, so this is how government has taken steps in order to regulate or run these markets for agriculture products in a regulated manner. Okay, so what they do is they set up the markets, and the market is governed, and all the rules are implemented by a department that is set by under the government. Okay, and whatever small fee that has to be paid by the farmers, that is deducted from the amount at which the products are sold. Okay, they can either be sold through one-to-one channel, that is the buyer and the seller can meet and go through with the transaction, or there can be an auction when there are a large number of buyers for the product. Next we come to the advantages of regulated markets. So there are many benefits of regulated market, out of which major benefits are as follows. First is publicity. Promotion for agriculture reforms can be more easily possible. So agriculture products can be publicized and promoted through regulated markets. Then reliable data. Regular market reliable data can be obtained from the arrangement of the system, and the data can be related to the yield, stock and price. So data is also maintained in order to spread information, the correct information, that what is the amount of stock that is held currently in warehouses with the regulated markets, what is the current price that is prevailing in the market, okay, how much tax is being charged. All these information are stored, and this helps in lessening of miscommunication or misinformation spreading. Okay, so everybody can look up the data and information whatever is listed on the regulated market portal, and everybody can see the information. Then reliable news. Reliable and modern information and news are available to all parties working in the market from regulated markets. Then correct measurement. Correct measurement is guaranteed in regular markets, as the measurement and weighs are inspected from time to time. Okay, so as we discussed once earlier as well, that in regulated markets the person who is going to weigh the products, जो उसको नापने वाला है, तौलने वाला है, the weigher is appointed by the government, okay, as an employee of the regulated markets. Okay, so he or she is trained and authorized to weigh the products perfectly. Even the weights that are issued or used in these markets are standard, and there cannot be tampering with these weights. You cannot alter the amount of weight that the weigh carries. Okay, so there is regular inspection also, so that there is no frauds being committed. Then you may have seen in that movie also, Nayak where they go for inspection and check that the person who is weighing the products, he is using false weights. Has anybody in the class seen that movie? So now you can relate with these things. What we are studying here is similar to that incident. Then reduction of expenses. Clear knowledge of marketing expenses is obtained, and additional and unnecessary expenses are reduced. Okay, so as we discussed that intermediaries have been eliminated, so they cannot cut down the profits of the actual producer or the farmer. Government only charges that minimum amount of fee that is required in order to run and operate these markets. Okay, then next is regular behavior. Market actions become regular and all operations are done properly. So regulated markets operate on a regular basis. There is a set date and day and time for opening and closing of the market. So there is no improper activities being committed. Then disputes. So marketing disputes are settled easily. By protecting the interest of the seller, the marketing work is done successfully. So any kind of problems or disputes that may arise are settled through the rules and regulations that are established by the government or the state government committee, and the marketing of every product is also done properly because there are no disputes. Then standard conditions. In relation to the purchase and sale, favorable trade conditions are determined and standards can be established in the appropriate quality. Okay, so standards is standardization also we'll study in the next unit, that is the 5th unit. So standardization basically tells us the maintenance of quality in a product. Okay, so standard quality and the actual quality is compared, and it is judged what should be the what is the difference between the standard and the actual quality produced. Okay, so standardized conditions are also established, and because of this better prices can be redeemed by the producer. In relation to purchase and sale, favorable trade conditions are determined and standards can be established in appropriate quality. Then proper arrangement. So proper arrangement of standing water, shed and cart etc. may be possible in the markets. Okay, so as it takes time for people to operate in the market, to the seller, the buyer, all are there. So there are proper arrangements made for helping the buyer and seller meet and arrange for the transactions. So there is water facility, sheds, carts, even toilet facilities are also available. Okay, so these are the advantages of regulated markets. All right, now next we come to the limitations. What are the limitations of regulated markets? So difference in mandi tariff rates. A major drawback or limitation of regulated markets is that of mandi tariffs on a single product in different states of the country. Rates vary greatly. For this reason, mandi duty is evaded and goods started being sold in the mandis of other states. For example, agriculture produce markets in Madhya Pradesh on an yield fees a percentage fee, and in Rajasthan 0.5% fee. So basically, depending on various states, regulated markets have different fees or charges for participating in the market, and that um, um, makes or influences the producer to sell the products in different markets. Obviously they will try to sell it in a market where the tariff or the fee is lesser, okay, so that they can save that amount. Then farmers not getting timely payment. So the processing time is very long. Okay, as we know that government operations take very long time to process. So farmers do not get timely payment of the goods they sell in regulated markets, that is mandi. Many times traders pay 2% and 1% of the time by cutting the farmer. Means they try to discount the amount. The farmers try to discount the amount in order to receive the payment early. Okay. Then lack of paved roads in the mandi. So the transportation suffers because there are no proper roads maintained for people, for the producers to come and bring their goods through tractors or bullock carts, whatever they are using as a medium of transport. Okay, so that is also something that takes extra amount of time and effort. Then lack of godowns in the mandis. So there are no proper storage facilities. Obviously the farmers or the producers bring the products in huge quantities, and it is some of those products are perishable in nature. So if there are no proper warehouse facilities or storage facilities, then the products can get spoiled. Okay. Next is lack of drinking water and proper lighting. So there are water arrangements that are made in regulated markets, but proper cleanliness, proper maintenance of that water facility is not done. Okay. Then lack of meeting arrangements. Farmers from villages who come to these mandis with their crops have to sit in the open in the sun and rain. There is no shade for them, nor seats on which they can sit comfortably. Okay, so waiting areas are not established. Even if there are sheds put up, they are not maintained from time to time, and due to which they get damaged and are of no use. Then the problem of staying at night. Now when farmers come from say 100 kilometers, 200 kilometers, they travel to bring their produce to the regulated markets. Sometimes it is not possible for them to return to the villages immediately. Okay, some come through bullock carts, some come through tractors. So they obviously have to take those mediums back to their villages, and if they cannot stay at night, there is no facility, they have to stay in the open. Okay, so there's no safety, no arrangement for them to stay there. Then lack of arrangements to tie oxen. So obviously as I said that they some of them come through bullock carts, bring their products through a bullock cart, and so there is no proper arrangement for keeping the bulls tied up. Okay, or having safety of them. They can be stolen, or they if it's raining, then they have to stay in the rain, because there's no shed even for humans to wait. So how can they expect a shed for poor animals? Okay. Then mandis not developing according to plan. Mandis have not developed according to plan means on paper there are a lot of arrangements that have been suggested, just like we studied in when we were discussing about the points here, right? So many things are mentioned, but these not all of them are actually carried out. Okay, on paper there is a lot of planning that is done, but in actual lot of things are not carried out according to plan, or they are not implemented. Then problem relating to labors and hammers. The major problem of agriculture produce market committee is related to laborers and workers. These work people strike on the day of arrival, due to which the goods are not weighed on time and the goods are lying in the open. Due to this, farmers have to face most problems. Okay, so no proper storage facilities, as I said. So obviously, if they cannot stay at night, they have to reach on that particular day only. Okay, whichever date it's finalized for the auction or for the sale of goods, for the transaction. So when they reach on time, it's not just 2-3 people who bring their products. Okay, there are hundreds of people who bring tons of grains, tons of produce to the market to sell it, but there are not enough employees or people available to organize the items, to organize the auction, to organize the sales, to weigh the products, to grade them. Okay, so that is another issue that the producers face. Okay, so these were the limitations of regulated markets. Next, we have to study the organization of regulated markets in MP. So we will study that tomorrow. Okay, please go through these points what we have discussed today. These are simple points today. It was not anything that difficult. Just read through it and you will have a better understanding of what we studied today. Is there any question?